Meeting to order. We have a quorum with 9 members present, 8 in person, 1 virtual, Mr. Robert Taylor. We will now move on to a Pledge of Allegiance, and with TJ Williams, come lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, okay. Let's do this thing. A pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's always a prize. No one knows who's going to do it. And we had to have your lovely energy to start off the meeting. All right. I would like to move the adoption of the agenda. I would like to withdraw, which is Wyatt, Mr. Wyatt, certification. Oh, never mind. Okay. I would like to move the agenda. Can I have a motion to move the agenda as printed? There's a motion. Is there a second? Oh, it's not listed. I just need to verbally say it. The Wyatt.
Yeah.
It's clear. Okay. We're going to start over. We will now move to the adoption of the agenda. I would like to remove Mr. Wyatt's certification of charges from the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There is a motion. There is a motion by Vice Chair Namad Kinney. There is a second by Member O'Hara Block. All in favor of adopting? Yes.
Chair, I would like to pull one item from consent.
Okay.
Item G 5.303,
G.
personal leave.
Okay. Thank you. We are removing Board Policy 5.303, personal and professional leave. Is there anything that wants to be removed from the agenda? Or be removed from the consent agenda? Is there anything else? All right. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Aye. All right. The agenda is adopted. We will now move to awards and recognitions. Dr. Battle.
Thank you, Chair Player, and good evening, board members. I'm excited to be recognizing a star student and some of our outstanding educators and community partners tonight as we start the countdown to the kickoff for the 26-27 school year. First up is our partnership between Maplewood High School and Bridgestone Americas. I'm not sure if everyone realizes that Maplewood has been the site of a Bridgestone Automotive Training Center since 2015. If you haven't seen it in action, you have to go out and check it out. This is a fully functioning replica of a Firestone Complete Auto Care store where students can get hands-on learning and real-world experience in automobile maintenance, brakes and suspension, diagnostics, tires and alignment, and customer service based on the highest of industry standards. It's a wonderful example of the many programs to help the students in our academies of Nashville explore career possibilities in great depth while they're still in high school. More than 145 students have graduated from the Bridgestone program at Maplewood, with many of them going on to internships and full-time employment with Firestone and other automotive partners. When they finish the program, they leave with certifications, skills, and career-ready experience. And we're celebrating tonight because Maplewood and Bridgestone have extended this incredible partnership, which means even more students will benefit from the training, mentorship, job shadowing, and internships that will come their way. So I'd like to ask the following Maplewood and Bridgestone team members to stand and join us up front to be recognized and to pause for a quick picture. At this time, I'd like to welcome up Dr. Sonia Brooks, Executive Principal of Maplewood High School. None other than TJ Williams, our automotive extraordinaire. Mr. Ty Wilson, our assistant principal over the Academy of Maplewood. Ms. Lanidra Marshall, Academy Coach at Maplewood High School. And our amazing partners from Bridgestone Americas. Hannah Schmidt, Bridgestone Retail Operations Category Manager. Carla Solomon, Senior Manager for Data Governance. And Chris Silverson, Bridgestone Retail Operations Category Manager. And the Director of the Academies of Nashville, Dr. Celia Conley. We could not wait to take a moment to thank everyone at Bridgestone and at Maplewood for all the great work you continue to put into this program and the opportunities it creates for so many of our incredible students. Again, congratulations and thank you all for this amazing partnership. Let's give them another round of applause.
Thank you so much.
All right, congratulations again to our Maplewood and Bridgestone team on extending their excellent partnership. So now we're going to turn to an outstanding student who has won a national competition. Jonathan Rodriguez Solomon, a student at McGee Global Communications Magnet K-8 School, won first place for grades 5 through 8 earlier this year in the Distinguished Trailblazers in the Sciences competition hosted by Michigan State University. So during this competition, every student created a presentation on a scientist who has been a trailblazer. Jonathan's project was about David Chavez, a chemist who works at Los Alamos National Laboratory and has created a number of inventions, including a new material that could replace TNT. Jonathan's presentation used graphics and video to tell the story of Dr. Chavez, educational background, and the importance of his work as a scientist. Jonathan, please know we are so proud of you for using your research and your skills to represent Nashville Public Schools so beautifully on the national stage. Thank you for joining us up front for a photo. Congratulations. We would love to have Jonathan and his family and the McGee team and our Magnet Schools team join him up front so we can celebrate him some more. Congratulations, Jonathan. All right, again, congratulations to Jonathan, his family, the entire team at McGee, and our MSAP team. Board Chair Player, that concludes our awards and recognitions. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, and the awesome Bridgestone program. I have taken my car there just because of that program. So I always look like, are you an MNPS student? But So thank you for that. Now we'll go into director report and we'll talk about the beginning of the school year, which comes up in about 2 weeks.
Board members, staff, and guests. Thank you. I struggle with that tonight. Before we get into tonight's director's report, I want to take a few minutes to share some important updates and celebrate a few milestones as we head into the 26-27 school year. I also want to briefly recognize 2 leadership updates. First, Dr. Jessie Tang, who's sitting up front, who has already been serving our district, is stepping into the role of Chief of Strategy. Congratulations and welcome to you, Dr. Tang. And we're also welcoming Dana Osbrooks to the district as our new Deputy Chief of Legal Services. So Dana, if you can stand and wave your hand, congratulations to you and welcome. As was mentioned during our announcements, today we got to celebrate our summer graduates who crossed the stage and received their diplomas at a ceremony at Martin Luther King Junior High. These are students who kept going through summer coursework, through setbacks, through everything to finish what they started. They worked hard, they stayed the course and earned their diplomas, and we could not be prouder of their persistence and their not yet, as Dr. Bellamy shared in his keynote speech today. We are now just 2 weeks away from the first day of school on Tuesday, August 11th, which will be a full day for all grades except kindergarten and pre-K, which will be half days. Before students arrive, our teachers return for professional learning and planning from Friday, July 31st through Monday, August 10th. On July 31st, schools will focus entirely on family connections and engagement through remind messages, phone calls, home visits, and more, so that every single family hears directly from their school before the school year begins. That evening, we'll come together for the Pencil Together for Teachers rally, a chance for the whole community to show our educators just how much they're valued as they head back into the classroom. And we're also making sure our youngest learners start the year ready to succeed. Every kindergarten and first grade student across the district will receive an Every Student Known box filled with school supplies so that no family has to worry about having the necessary resources on day one, and they can focus completely on preparing for a strong start to the school year. And families across Nashville have already had the chance to get a jump start on the year at our back-to-school bashes. This summer, we are hosting 17 of these free events, no-cost events, to our families, one for every school cluster and our signature schools, running from late July through early August. Each bash brings free school supplies, no-cost school supplies, food, music, family activities, and community resource fairs right into the neighborhood, giving families a chance to connect with school, staff, community partners before the year even begins. Following the board's passage of the budget at our last meeting, I want to highlight a few ways we're already following through on our commitment to our people. We've increased hourly exception pay and increased voluntary professional development pay for teachers. Pay increases for eligible employees include a step increase and a cost of living adjustment for all employees. And all of this will begin showing up in paychecks on Friday, July 31st. We've also expanded the schedule for our 10-month support employees, giving them 2 additional paid work days ahead of the school year. For our operations teams, our bus drivers, bus monitors, nutrition services staff, and others, those days fall on July 31st and November 3rd, so they can focus on the training, certifications, and readiness work that keeps our schools running safely every day. For our school-based support staff, our school secretaries, classroom associates, campus support and safety ambassadors, and paraprofessionals, those days are built around their own school calendars, so they can complete training and take part in Family Connection Day right alongside our teachers. On Monday, we'll celebrate all of these staff from across the district at our Standing Strong for Support Staff event. We're also making a significant local investment to expand before and after school programming for our elementary families. This funding will launch our expanded programs at more than 30 elementary schools, creating more than 1,800 seats and supporting more than 100 program staff, primarily our own MNPS educators. Schools have the flexibility to design programs that fit their students and working families, whether that's academic support, enrichment, or the arts. And our goal is for every one of these new programs to be up and running by October 1st. We'll provide more details in a future board update once the individual site plans are confirmed. Looking ahead, on Saturday, August 1st, we'll host our third annual MNPS and Friends All-Star Celebration, a fun night of basketball and school spirit at Lipscomb University's Allen Arena. Doors open at 6 p.m. with tip-off at 6:30, and admission is free for students, staff, alumni, and supporters of Metro Nashville Public Schools. And stay tuned next week for the release of our second MNPS album, a collection of songs and content written, performed, and produced entirely by our very own students. Our visual and performing arts team, led by the great Franklin Willis, has outdone themselves again, and this album is another example of the incredible talent we have in the district, marching into greatness. Lastly, I also look forward to sharing more of the incredible academic achievements of our students and educators over the course of the last school year in the weeks to come, so please stay tuned. With all of that said, I want to now turn to tonight's director's report. One of the most significant changes families will see this year is a shift in school start times across the entire district. Chief Morris Sullivan, along with Carl Allen from Formative, as well as some of our incredible staff, are here tonight to give us an update on our progress implementing this change. So at this time, I will turn it over to our Chief of Operations, Chief Morris Sullivan.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you, Chair Player and board members. Good evening. So glad to be with you again, to give you another update on where we are with our start time implementation. You know, this is an initiative that was approved by the Board of Education a few months ago, and we have been working really, really hard all summer to be sure that we are ready. And I can tell you that we are. But you won't just hear from me tonight. You will also hear from Carl Allen, who will give you, from his perspective, his lens, how ready we are. I really want to thank a few people who've been hard at work all summer. The members of our transportation team, including the administration of that team, our executive officer for operations, Mr. Ken Stark, Mr. Ron Garner, our executive director of transportation, and they are both here tonight in the audience. And I also really want to shout out our routing, dispatch, and manager teams who've been working all summer on this work tirelessly throughout the summer. And I also want to pay a special tribute to our bus drivers who have worked this summer to be a part of the feedback loops and reviewed routes, given feedback, driven routes, really worked over and over again in helping us to get these routes right. And we have 3 drivers here tonight kind of representing the entire batch. So I want for you to be able to see Miss Brenda Wright from the Glencliff cluster, Mr. Jerry Lay from the Cane Ridge cluster, and Mr. Randall Kleinard from the Ex-Ed crew. Brenda, Jerry, and Randall, would y'all please rise? These great drivers have been with us throughout this journey, and we couldn't have done it without them. So thank y'all for your help and expertise this summer. All right. As a refresher, our start times will shift. In August, our high schools will begin at 7:25 a.m. and dismiss at 2:25 p.m. Our elementary schools will begin at 8:10 a.m. and dismiss at 3:10 p.m. And our middle schools will begin at 8:55 and dismiss at 3:55 as they do today. Please note that there are some schools within our district who do not change because they are magnet or charter schools, and that's why we have a full listing of all of our schools' start and end times on our website. Our implementation priorities from the beginning of this work have been led by the guiding principles of student safety, clear communication, and building an integrated transition that leads to long-term excellence. We are always looking at every one of our reimagined opportunities in our district-wide work as one that creates opportunities beyond itself just like the schedule change. We know that with that philosophy, guided by these implementation principles, we will see improved student readiness and attendance, strengthened transportation reliability, improved arrival safety and efficiency, and stronger cross-departmental coordination. And because of that, and this in-depth data work that we've done this summer, and the help of our vendor partner Formative, we will truly establish sustainable performance monitoring for our transportation department, something that I am very excited about. And speaking of our vendor partner, I am going to bring Mr. Carl Allen, the CEO of the Formative Group here. He is here with us today. I'm going to bring him up and let him, as I alluded to earlier, share with you the work that we've done this summer, and really from his lens as someone who has done this work around the country to really give you his view of where we are right now and what we have left to do. So, Carl, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Chief Sullivan and Dr. Battle and Board. Good evening. Pleased to be here to report on our progress and to assure you that we are on track for the start of the school year. Feel very confident in that fact. Our implementation process has been very thorough, very rigorous. We've completed the initial planning and preparation phase, where we last spring did a ridership audit, a whole simulation of stop consolidation, developed plans for communications, and prepared our systems for the stage that we're in now, which is substantially completed, again, with just some few final quality checks and phases to complete before the start of the school year. We actually took the modeling of what stops may be able to be streamlined, how routes could be shortened. As you know, the time windows between bell times has shrunk somewhat, and so that was one of our most important charges, to make sure that routes could run sustainably, that we still had safe stops, but that we could streamline operations without adding to the driver requirements for the district. So we'd completed that analysis. We've completed that implementation of removing some stops, but also a significant amount of review, route by route, rigorous review from our team, but also feedback from drivers to add back stops and quality check every single route to make sure that they would both work, but also that the stops that were there for students and families were safe and feasible. We've also begun a process that will be a long-term effort to coordinate with the Transit Authority, as that's part of the long-term sustainable plan for the district. Continue to work on staff and family communications, and as I said, are now in a process of ongoing finalization, quality checking, streamlining the routes to be ready for the start of the school year. To Chief Sullivan's point about monitoring, we've now also built significant new tools and systems to track on-time performance and report on system performance and reliability from day one. So that's very exciting. And are, as I said, ready for the start of the school year, where we will be monitoring and engaged in cycles of continuous improvement, tracking ridership, making adjustments where needed, and so that they can be resolved, and we'll get to stability as soon as possible once the school year starts. A little bit of a deeper dive into exactly where we are. So we did complete a first draft of routes, mentioned to you that we did, go through, remove a lot of stops, add a bunch back in the course of review, quality check every single route, and then brought a draft of routes to drivers. So we've completed a first review of both Gen Ed and Ex Ed routes. Presently, preparing for drivers to take another set of routes with more changes, more adjustments, that then they'll dry run and provide more feedback, so that we have additional set of feedback and fine tuning before the first day of school. And again, planning for communications to families ahead of the first day of school. Another thing I wanted to note was some improvements to just the technical systems and how the databases and data is structured, and how families are communicated with ahead of the start of the school year, so that they'll have more stability in terms of where the routing team might be working on routes and changing and adjusting to the data that's ever changing, while families and drivers can have stability and predictability for the information that they're getting, and know with confidence when they're looking at their app or looking at the website that the assignment that they're seeing is correct. And as I mentioned, by the end of July, we will have incorporated more of the driver feedback after their dry runs, and then we'll be closing the loop to share back with them how we've used their feedback and how valuable that was. One other piece I just wanted to share, again, this is another example of a longer-term effort that we're building into the system, is the creation that the district is launching, a creation of a portal for families to opt out if they do not wish to receive MNPS transportation. And this is just another way for us to have routes that are more representative, more streamlined for those families that really need it, and have a way to capture and operationalize the preferences of families that don't need it. And so we don't expect huge volumes of families to leverage this just yet, but this is, again, really a part of a long-run effort, just so that we have routes that are more representative and be more responsive to the real needs of your families. So finally, just close with an ask to you all as to how you can support. So we have a set of communications that are on the website. Help us to share this information, get the word out where parents can find information about their new bus stops and their routes. And also just to be patient with us. There is, of course, there's always change and flux at the beginning of the school year as new families enroll. We learn about address changes. Schools get accustomed to doing dismissal. Families get used to their new stops and new routines. But we really do hope, apart from just regular, some of the excitement that accompanies the start of the school year, that we will get to stability very quickly. And I'm excited for that. So thank you. Thanks for your support. Oh, back to you, Dr. Battle.
Back to you, Dr. Battle.
All right, thank you all so much for that thorough update in preparation for the start of the school year. So thank you, Marco. I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Player.
Thank you for that report. Is there any questions or comments for Chief Sullivan or informative? Member O'Hara Block.
All right, I know we're running behind and all these things. I just want to say thank you. I know this has been an enormous lift. Very appreciative of the work that you all are doing. And just, a couple of the things that, like the bus opt-in, some of these things are just really good, efficient moves, and glad to see we're making them. So thanks, that's all.
Member Elrod.
Thank you. I wanted to say that I really appreciated the amount of driver feedback that's being provided, and that it's not just being provided, but listened to and reacted to as well. I appreciate those drivers that are here with us tonight, and that unintended consequences are usually, they would be the ones that would usually tell us what those are. So I appreciate that we have that good data and that they're willing to provide it. Lastly, I want to make sure that we promote a bit the Track Our Students bus. That was a really desired thing in my district for many, many years. I know it was hard for us to find a vendor to do that well. And so I appreciate that we're continuing to push that, and that it will be helpful to families as they figure out what their new bus stops are and what's the new timing. And I look forward to hearing about what we learn from WeGo and the ongoing partnership we will have with that, because long-term sustainability will be required for that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Comments or questions? Thank you to our transportation team. Thank you. I know my dad did logistics for the Army. So the things that you have to do and the things you have to think through in a relatively short period of time, you did this in less than a year. We really just appreciate for what you do, from the actual bus drivers who actually implement things, to the people who design it, to people who are working out the financial cost of it, the mapping out. Thank you, because it's one of those things that's done behind the scenes and is not really noticed. But I know it's not easy work, and it's very thoughtful, and it's tedious work, but it's important work. So just to the transportation department, I just really want to say thank you for all the work that you're doing with that. To the public and to the parents, give us a little grace. Yes. Give us a little grace. The first of the year is a little chaotic, and as we implement this, and it's just the general chaos at the beginning of the year, just new kids with kindergarten coming, the tier transitions, traffic patterns. just offer a little grace for the first week or two, and then you will see things will actually just smoothly work themselves out. But please do not hesitate to let us know if you have any issues. But also, if traffic backs up a little bit, welcome back to school. And to the colleges, that doesn't help either. So just want to offer that, but just give us a little grace. But please let us know if there are any major issues, and we will be happy to address them as they come. So thank you.
Thank you all. And the Find My Bus Stop app is working, is live. So, so you know that is ready to go.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Is that it? Awesome. Okay. All right. That is it for the director's report. Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you, Chief Sullivan. Now we'll move on to public participation. We have people signed up for public participation. There's 2 minutes to speak. We have our timer, closest to member Tyler. It will go through and the light will go on the dais. It will go down to red, white, yellow, red. Red, it means you need to stop. We ask you to stop. If you do not complete your comments, you're more than welcome to email them to the board, and we can read them if you do not are able to finish your comments. Okay, so we will begin with public comment, and we will give Mr. Kevin Dyson.
Good evening, distinguished board and Dr. Battle. My name is Dr. Kevin Dyson. I'm the founder of Music City Academy, a public charter high school here in Nashville. After our previous hearing, a theme emerged that sports and athletic championships were the focus of the school. I'd like to respectfully offer a different perspective. Sports are not the destination. They are the vehicle. Our mission has never been to build a school about athletics or winning championships. Our mission is to build high-quality public high school that uses the power of sports to engage students in rigorous academics, wellness, and meaningful post-secondary opportunities. I know this because I've lived it. Growing up, sports was my passion. Football opened doors, but education gave me the foundation to succeed long after my playing career was over. Those experiences in athletics opened the doors for me to spend the last 20 years guiding students towards their purpose. Now, after more than 20 years in education, I've learned something simple. Students don't become engaged because adults tell them what they should love. They become engaged because schools connect learning to what they already love. For many students, that's sports. We aren't celebrating athletics. We're leveraging the passion of sports to create scholars. Nearly 500 families in Nashville have expressed they are excited about seeing MCA as a choice for their families. 200 have expressed interest in enrolling in the first class. Research continues to show participation in sports is associated with high attendance, stronger engagement, improved mental wellness, and an increased graduation rate. The lessons through sports also prepares students for life beyond high school. In fact, 94% of women in executive and managerial positions have a background in sports. 91% say that the skills they have developed through sports were essential in their career success. And 88% say those skills are transferred directly into their leadership roles. These numbers aren't really about sports. They're about leadership, communication, resilience, accountability, and perseverance. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Dyson. Ken Thomas.
Good evening, Madam Superintendent and Madam Chairwoman. My name is Ken Thomas. I'm a father, grandfather, great-grandfather, business owner in the community, and I am the Vice Chairman of the Board for Music City Academy. We're asking for your approval on our charter school application, and we want to focus your attention on who we are and who we are not. As you heard Dr. Dyson say, our school is designed to be an addition to the opportunities for student engagement offered by MNPS, not a replacement or a competitor. We know that in the myriad of opportunities that are available in the MNPS system, that we can never offer enough opportunities to meet students where they are. And we want to help them get to where they want to be. Research shows that, as Dr. Dyson said, that engagement is the key to student success. Our vision is that our school will offer a chance to use sports and the associated disciplines surrounding sports, including management, production, and other key roles, to support student buy-in and engagement. We believe that this will enrich their lives beyond the traditional classroom. Everyone will be on a team and have a dedicated coach in the areas that interest them. Even though sports is a catalyst for engagement, this is not a sports-only school. Please help us as we drive our core values of team over self, passion to purpose, and wellness for life through our opportunity to work with you as a charter school in the school system. Thank you for your time and what you do for our community every day.
Thank you. Viva Price.
Good evening, Dr. Battle and Chair Player and all of the board. My name is Viva Price, and I serve as the chair of the Gates School. I also serve as Executive Director of Youth Encouragement Services, and the last time I was here, I shared a bit of my own story as a parent here in Nashville. As a mom who watched my own daughter cycle through charter, private, and now public magnet school, we're really searching for the right fit. And I know how much it matters when a family finally finds it. Through my work, I see every day what young people are capable of when they are surrounded by high expectations, strong relationships, and adults who refuse to give up on them. I also see how urgently Nashville's families need more high-quality middle school options. The middle school years are a critical turning point. Students are developing their confidence, their identity, and their beliefs about what's possible for their future. Families deserve a school that takes those years seriously and prepares students not only to succeed academically, but also become independent thinkers, effective communicators, and strong leaders. That's why I believe so deeply in the Gates School. I've watched Buris, Jim, and the entire team approach this work with extraordinary care, discipline, and humility. They've listened to families, studied the needs of our community, built meaningful partnerships, and developed a thoughtful academic and operational plan. From what I've seen firsthand, the team is prepared to launch and to lead an excellent school. As a board, we understand the gravity of the responsibility we're taking on. We are committed to strong governance, financial stewardship, academic excellence, and accountability to the students and families we serve. As a community leader and a parent, I believe Nashville will be better because the Gates School exists. Our families need more excellent options, and our students deserve the opportunity this school will provide. So I respectfully ask for your support this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Cassie Witworth.
Good evening and happy Tuesday. Thank you all for giving me an opportunity to speak on behalf of Music City Academy tonight. My name is Cassie Witworth. I grew up in Middle Tennessee. I played college basketball. I run a youth basketball organization, and I currently coach college basketball as well. Every day I work with young people who are learning far more than how to play a game. They're becoming who they are. I would like to emphasize that I am not pro-charter and I am not pro-public school. I am pro-student athlete. As someone who has dedicated my life to coaching, I know athletics can be one of the most powerful tools we have just to help students succeed. I'm here today because I believe in the mission of this sports leadership-based charter school and what it can do for young people. As a coach, I've watched athletes walk into the gym with their heads down, afraid to speak up, afraid to make mistakes, unsure of themselves. I've also watched these same kids become confident leaders, not just on the court, but in the classroom, in their homes, and eventually in their careers. Sports give kids something that's hard to measure but impossible to ignore, and that's confidence. They teach resilience, accountability, discipline, and leadership. Those lessons don't end when the game is over. They shape the people that they become. Athletics, and more importantly, basketball, have changed their trajectory of my life. It gave me opportunities I never imagined, and today I have the privilege of helping provide those same opportunities across Nashville. I believe every student deserves access to an educational environment where they can thrive, and if this school can help even one more young student athlete discover his or her confidence, find their voice, and believe in their potential, then it is worth supporting, in my opinion. Thank you for your time and your commitment to the students of Nashville.
Thank you. Jim Lacron.
Dr. Battle, Madam Board Chair, thank you for giving me some time tonight. My name is Jim Lacron. I'm the current school leader at East End Prep and co-founder of the Gates School. I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of variables you have to consider when deciding to authorize a new charter school. That being said, I deeply believe the most important responsibility of education decision makers is to ensure the students of Nashville get the best education possible. The Gate School is one of 2 applications before you tonight that received the highest ratings since Valor Voyager in 2014. I would also guess by now you've read the Black Paper, a publication by a parent advocacy group, Propel, which now has over 11,000 parent members. The report highlights the schools with the highest academic growth of Black students since the pandemic. East Prep is in the top category, 20-plus points of growth in all grades, ELA, and math. East Prep is also #1 among all schools in Nashville for the growth of Black student achievement in middle school math since the pandemic. A big part of that was my co-founder, Buris, who taught 8th grade math at EEP from 2020 to 2024, where he consistently had 70% of his students achieve proficiency on TCAP. You trusted me 16 years ago to build a school that delivered excellent outcomes for kids, and I've done that. And I'm very, very grateful you afforded me that opportunity. If you authorize the Gate School tonight, I would do it again alongside one of the best educators and human beings I've ever worked with, Buris. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Aaron McGee.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Aaron McGee, a proud Maplewood High School graduate, and I serve on the board of Aventura Community School, and I develop young leaders across Nashville through Big Leadership Energy. I'm supporting Music City Academy because it represents something Nashville needs, a space where students can show up as their whole selves, athletes, leaders, learners, while building skills for real careers and life. Dr. Kevin Dyson, the founder, actually shadowed at Aventura to prepare. That tells you something about the quality of vision and collaboration happening here. As a Maplewood alumnus, a parent, and an educator, I've learned young people thrive when they have 3 things: clarity about what's possible, safety to try, and mentors who believe in them. Music City Academy builds all 3. It uses sports not as just athletics, but as a laboratory for leadership, teamwork, wellness, and purpose. Nashville students deserve options. This one is worth supporting. Thank you for your time and for your service.
Thank you. Trevor Jones. Trevor Jones. Buris.
Good evening. My name is Buris, and I'm the co-founder of the Gate School. Tonight, I want to take a moment to share the meaning behind our name because I believe it gets to the heart of who we are and the kind of school we are working to create. 5 years ago during the summer, I found myself wrestling with a question: what truly makes a student excellent? I knew excellence was not simply about being smart or naturally talented, but I still struggled to define what truly set excellent students apart. Then, one morning that summer, I came across the concept of the narrow gate and the wide gate. The wide gate is the path that is easy and comfortable. It's the path many people choose. The narrow gate is harder. It requires discipline, courage, and perseverance, but ultimately leads somewhere worthwhile. And suddenly, the answer became clear to me. The students who experience success and exemplify excellence are not always the students for whom everything comes easily. They are the students who consistently choose the narrow gate. I brought that concept back to my students that fall and it clicked. Students began to understand that they had ownership over their decisions. Their success was not determined by whether someone had called them smart, gifted, or hardworking. It was built through the choices they made every day. Would they participate when it was easier to stay silent? Would they revise their work when it was easier to settle for good enough? Would they persevere through frustration when it was easier to give up? That year, my students' mastery on TCAP increased from 48% to 78%. But even more powerful than the scores was the independence, confidence, and sturdiness I saw developing within them. What I saw that year changed me as an educator. I realized that excellence is already present within our students. Our job is not to manufacture it. Our job is to cultivate it. That is what the Gate School will do. We will challenge students, support them, and help them recognize that their future is shaped by the choices they make each day. Today, we're asking you to give Nashville students the opportunity to walk through that gate. Thank you.
Thank you. Christian McDonald.
Good afternoon, board members and Dr. Battle. I'm Christina McDonald, and I will be the Chief Academic Officer for Music City Academy. I started my student teaching at Granbury Elementary in 2005, and I've continued in education ever since then, and I'm very proud of that. I've led school turnarounds and school launches across Nashville and Mississippi. At Intrepid, the last place I worked, I led Independence Academy and the network from a D to a B state accountability rating in 3 years, with a level 5 TVOS growth across 18 contents, the highest scores in 15 content areas among MNPS District 6 schools. Before that, I founded Reimagine Prep, the first charter school in the state of Mississippi, building it from the ground up into the highest performing open enrollment middle school in that city. MCA is a chance to build it right from day one, to design academics and athletics to work together, not to put them on or bolt them on after the fact. That's what drew me here to this school and to this mission. And it's why I'm confident that what we can do for Nashville kids and for the future of our community. At MCA, athletics is the vehicle, as we said, and not just a destination. Every student belongs to a team. They have an advisor who knows their data as well as their playbook. Sports teach discipline and resilience and accountability, but the goal has always been academics. Kids who show up for practice, they show up for class. And the habits built on the field carry students towards college and career readiness. I've seen this work before. At a previous school, we had no dedicated field, and we still won the soccer championship back-to-back. Because strong academics and culture carry a program and carry the kids through even when everything else catches up. That's the standard that I will be bringing to Music City Academy. We are ready to build a rigorous academic program from day one, and we are very excited for what's ahead. I hope to partner with each of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Micaia Cox.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Micaia Cox, speaking on behalf of the Gates School, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. When I think about the teachers who have truly changed my life, Mr. Buris is the first person who comes to mind. He has been so much more than a teacher to me. He has been a mentor, a source of encouragement, and someone who has always believed in me, even during moments when I didn't fully believe in myself. As students, we may forget some of the lessons that we learn in the classroom, but we never forget the people who made us feel seen, valued, and capable of achieving more than we thought possible. Mr. Buris is that kind of person. He has a way of making every student feel important. He challenges us to grow, not just academically, but as people. He genuinely cares about who we become long after we leave his classroom. Because of Mr. Buris, I've gained confidence in myself and learned that having just one person who believes in you can change everything. He doesn't just teach lessons, he builds relationships, inspires students to dream bigger, and creates a place where students feel supported and understood. That is why I believe the Gates School will be such an incredible place for students. It will be built on the same values that have made Mr. Buris such an impactful educator. Believing in every student, creating meaningful relationships, and helping young people discover their potential. Every student deserves the chance to learn in an environment where they feel known, encouraged, and inspired to succeed. I know firsthand the difference one teacher can make. Mr. Buris has made a lasting impact on my life, and I truly believe the Gates School will allow him to make that same difference for many other students. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Ed Wisdom. Ed Wisdom. Elise Gregory.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elise Gregory. I'm a speech pathologist in the area, working in a lot of the local schools, and I'm a parent of 3 kids. My oldest is 8, going into 3rd grade. I'm on the New Families Committee at Berscie Priest Elementary, where I give tours every week to prospective families. I would say the number one question I get asked on every tour is, what's next? Where do we go after elementary? I sort of dread that question because it feels as if I'm having to sell our zone middle school, which people already have preconceived notions of. The huge bummer is that a lot of these wonderful families I tour won't even go to Berscie Priest because of the middle school conversation. My daughter Leah had 4 kids of her 21 in her class leave this year, 2 moving to Williamson County and 2 moving to private in anticipation of wanting a change before middle. Just this week, I was in charge of delivering 147 welcome bags for Berscie Priest. Now that we are a lottery school, I drove to Glencliff, Antioch, Bellevue, Whites Creek, and Hermitage. Hermitage is 21 miles from Berscie Priest, with traffic that's over an hour to and from school. The Gate School isn't a want, it's a need. I believe the small sample size of driving throughout Davidson County is insight to a much bigger problem. Now to the actual learning piece. By the end of middle school, I want my child to be not only academically prepared, but also confident, self-motivated, and equipped with strong communication and problem-solving skills. I believe the Harkness model, the discussion-based teaching model, perfectly sets up middle schoolers to feel known by their teachers, challenged in a supportive way, and inspires a love for learning. I firmly believe that the teachers at the Gate School will be some of the best in the area due to the 30% increase in salary and ability to have a say in how the school is run through different leadership positions they can hold. I respectfully and humbly ask you to support the Gate School and help make this option available to Nashville families. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrea Kzer.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Kzer. I'm a proud Nashville native and graduate of Whites Creek High School, class of 2011. I have a deep respect for this district. I've taught in it for nearly a decade. My mother 3 years ago retired from over 40 years of service in this district as a school administrator and teacher, and have two more relatives where collectively my family have served over a century in this district. So I have a great appreciation for what you all do and what all teachers across this district do. And considering that appreciation, I thought about how shortly after I graduated high school, the current board and superintendent at the time made what could be called a risky, but I believe rewarding decision to enact school options. And so you all allowed students from the McGavick cluster to attend Maplewood to be a part of their automotive track, or a student in the Whites Creek cluster could have attended AMQI and been like Jonathan and won a national award. And so I saw that decision benefit relatives of mine, friends, people I went to church with, and I deeply respect that because I know it was met with some pushback, though this current board didn't make that decision. And so as a board member of the Gate School, I would ask that this board truly and carefully consider continuing the legacy of MNPS by enacting school options, by adding the Gate School as a unique but excellent school option for families across our city. You've heard from our founder, you've heard from our board members, so I won't beat a dead horse, but having worked with Buris as a teacher for 4 years, we have the distinct pleasure, I believe biasly, of being on a great team myself of excellent teachers. But because I've worked alongside him and saw the inception of the Gate School, and now on paper, I understand the philosophy is something that we can't prove that it will work. But I can guarantee you, having worked with him and having a deep respect for this district and our board members, I would just humbly ask that you consider to adding the Gate School as another MNPS option. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ismael Fidan.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Ismael Fidan. I have served as a STEM educator, researcher, and academic leader in the Middle Tennessee for more than 25 years. I'm also a proud board member of the Nashville School of Excellence. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in support of the charter school this evening. Throughout my career, I have studied what makes schools and students successful. One of the strongest indicators of future success is a proven record of performance. Nashville School of Excellency is not built on promise alone, it's built on experience, results, and a model that has already demonstrated the success. The network behind this charter proposal opened its first school in Memphis in 2010. Over the past 15 years, it has earned the trust of families, expanded its impact, and today serves approximately 2,000 students with the support of more than 260 dedicated educators and staff members. This growth did not happen by chance. It is the result of high academic expectations, exceptional teachers, strong family engagements, and unwavering commitment to student success. As both an educator and a parent, I'm confident that Nashville School of Excellence will be a valuable addition to our community. The leadership experience and educational model are already in place. I believe this school will quickly become one of the Nashville's most respected educational options. For these reasons, I strongly support Nashville School of Excellence and respectfully ask for your favorable considerations this evening. Thank you for your time and considerations.
Thank you. Ebony Berscie.
Good evening. My name is Ebony Berscie, and I'm here to support the Nashville School of Excellence Charter application. As someone who works closely with families in our community, I have seen firsthand that many parents are looking for high-quality educational options for their children. Families want safe schools, stronger academics, caring teachers, and opportunities that will prepare their children for college and future careers. What gives me confidence in this application is that it is not only an untested idea. The team behind Nashville School of Excellence is connected to Memphis School of Excellence, a network which has strong history of serving students successfully. Their schools have earned strong academic results and build positive relationships with families from many different backgrounds. As we know, Nashville is growing rapidly, and our communities are becoming more and more diverse every year. Families need schools that welcome all students, challenge them academically, and help them to reach their full potential. Nashville School of Excellence is proposing a STEM-focused academy program that will give students access to opportunities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, skills that are increasingly important in today's world. I also appreciate the efforts that this team has made to engage in the community. Over the past year, they have met with local organizations, faith leaders, and nonprofit groups, and families across Nashville to better understand the community needs and build partnerships. This commitment shows that they are not simply opening a school, but they are invested in the future of Nashville's children. I believe the Nashville School of Excellence will be a valuable addition to our city and will provide families with another strong educational choice. For these reasons, I respectfully encourage the board to approve this application. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Arlene Martin Norman.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and Superintendent. My name is Arlene Martin Norman. I'm here today to express my support for the Nashville School of Excellence. Over the past several months, the Nashville School of Excellence team has worked diligently to engage the community and understand the needs of Nashville families. This effort has included visiting and meeting with more than 40 nonprofit organizations and community partners throughout the city. As a result of those conversations and partnerships, 37 organizations have provided letters of support for the Nashville School of Excellence. These letters demonstrate that community leaders and organizations recognize the value that this school can bring to Nashville students and families. In addition, more than 400 parents have completed the Nashville School of Excellence interest form to express their desire for this educational opportunity. These families come from diverse backgrounds, but they share a common goal: access to a quality education, safe environment, and academically rigorous school that will prepare their children for future success. The strong support from both community organizations and parents show that there is a genuine need and demand for Nashville School of Excellence. I respectfully ask the board to consider the significant community engagement, the 37 letters of support, and the voice of more than 400 families who expressed their interest in this school. Thank you for your time, for your service, and your commitment to students and families. We build a stronger Nashville.
Thank you. Etkar, and please, if I mispronounce it, please correct me.
Etkar. Yeah, good evening, dear board members. My name is Etkar, and I'm speaking on behalf of Peace Bridges Center, a community organization that works with many immigrant and multicultural families across Middle Tennessee. I'm here today to express our support for the Nashville School of Excellence Charter School application. Through our work in the community, we regularly meet families who are deeply invested in their children's education and who are looking for additional high-quality public school options. Many of our members come from diverse backgrounds, including Turkish, Kurdish, Azerbaijani, Uzbek, and many other communities. And they consistently emphasize the importance of strong academics, a safe learning environment, and meaningful family engagement. We have seen the positive impact that schools within the Memphis School of Excellence network have had on many families. Those experiences have given members of our community confidence that a Nashville School of Excellence could provide another strong educational option for students and parents in our city. As Nashville continues to grow and become more diverse, families benefit from having access to high-quality public schools that meet a variety of educational needs. Providing quality choices strengthens our entire educational system and empowers parents to select the learning environment that best fits their children. On behalf of many families we serve, I respectfully encourage the boards to give this application favorable consideration and provide Nashville families with another high-quality public education option. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Shukra Khalid.
Good evening. My name is Shukra, and I am proud to be a member of Nashville's Kurdish community. Nashville is home to one of the largest Kurdish community in the United States. Like many immigrant families, we came here seeking a better future for our children. In our culture, education is one of our highest priorities. We believe that a good education opens the door to opportunity, and we are always looking for high quality school choices that will help our children succeed. That's why I am here today to support the Nashville School of Excellence. Many Kurdish families have been searching for a school that offers strong academics, a safe environment, and prepares students for college and future careers. Nashville Schools of Excellence is exactly the kind of school many of us have been hoping for. Its focus on STEAM education, character development, and families engagement makes it an excellent option for our community and for families across Nashville. I'm also encouraged by the leadership of the purposed principal. As someone who is originally Kurdish and has many years of experience leading schools in different countries, he understands the hopes, expectations, and concerns of immigrant families. He understands the importance parents place on education and the partnership they expect between home and school. I believe that experience will help build trust with families from many different backgrounds while serving all students with excellence. Nashville continues to grow and become more diverse. Our families deserve access to more high-quality public school options. Nashville School of Excellence will not only serve the Kurdish community, but will also benefit. Thank you for time and consideration.
Thank you. Zaha Hassan. Hassan. All right. Nazera Amilova. And please correct me.
Good evening, dear boards. My name is Nazera. I'm an addiction and mental health clinician. I see every day, I see how the opportunities we give children shape the adults they become. A well-rounded education combined with dedicated staff and nurturing environment can truly change the course of child's life. And the Nashville School of Excellence is committed to offering a strong STEM-focused education while creating a safe and supportive environment where every child can feel valued and encouraged to reach their full potential. For these reasons, I would respectfully ask the board to approve this application and give Nashville School of Excellence the opportunity to serve our community. Thank you for your time and your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. That is the end of public participation. We'd like to thank everyone who spoke on behalf of their issue. We will now move on to board report. I will now hand it over to Member Elrod to give a governance committee report.
Thank you, Chair. This afternoon, about 3:45, though we stated it started at 4, luckily we gave ourselves some extra time. We went through a number of our policies and review. The vast majority of them were in response to legislative changes that happened this past year at the state. We had about 35 policies that we addressed and did those changes. The agenda for that meeting, the changes, including the annotated changes to all of that, can be found on our calendar if you are so interested. And we have a few pieces of follow-up that I will reach out to individual board members on, and we will be voting on those tonight. All policies, all 35 policies pass through governance. But I know we have one at least pulled off to discuss this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Elrod. We appreciate that. Now we'll move on to governance issues. I'd like to make a motion for the consent agenda with a reminder that we have pulled 5.303 policy, and we also removed Mr. Wyatt's certification of charges. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Been moved by Member Mays. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Fain. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Now we'll move on to policy number 5.303, personnel and leave policy. Member Young, since you removed it.
Well, someone should probably do.
Oh, yes. May I entertain a motion for the policy? Thank you.
I'll move it for discussion.
It's been moved by Member Young. Is there a second? Second by Member O'Hara Block. Discussion.
Thank you, Chair. So I don't think it's necessary to rehash everything that was necessarily said in committee. However, what I found useful was when trying to explore and learn about the state law that precipitated this change, I went back and watched the videos of when this bill was heard in committee. And I learned more about the intent. And I think the intent versus what actually became in the law doesn't necessarily line up. So taking that as a lesson, I think it's important that this board use the power we have, which is in setting policy, to make crystal clear our intent, which is that we don't anticipate this policy to read as a cap of 4 personal days. So therefore, I would make a motion to amend the policy on line 1 by inserting the words "at least" in front of the 2 days, and on line 2 by inserting the words "at least" in front of 4 days.
There's been a motion made by Member Young, second by Member Tyler. We are going to take a 20-second. Wait for the be pulled up. All right. So line 1, or sorry, what line 2? Say what your amendments are again. Sorry.
Inserting the words "at least" on line 1 in front of where it says 2 days, and insert the words "at least" on line 2 in front of where it says 4 days. So it would read, professional employees shall earn personal and professional leave at the rate of at least 2 days for each half year employed for a total of at least 4 days per year.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Member O'Hara Block.
Just in terms of discussion, and again, not to rehash the entire discussion from the governance committee, but it is my understanding from the legal team here that that the recommendation would be to pass the policy as it is currently read and address the issue of at least 2 days and at least 4 days within the procedural process and the MOU process, which I'm comfortable with. I just wanted to reiterate that. Check for understanding. You're shaking your head, which means that's also your understanding.
Can I make a quick clarification just because you made a reference to legal team?
Yeah.
As the board's attorney, I did not weigh in or make a recommendation to the board as to the appropriateness or legality of making the amendment. You are certainly welcome to consider all the information that you heard, but I just want to make it clear that I did not weigh in as the board's attorney on these amendments.
Okay, I'm gonna leave my comments there and allow for anyone who made previous motions to ask any questions they'd like to ask.
Thank you, O'Hara Block. Any questions or comments? Member Elrod?
Thank you. As chair of the committee that we had this discussion in, and again, with no interest in rehashing any of it, the conversation that was held with legal was not with Metro Legal, who serves as our board attorney. Does our board attorney have an opinion that needs to be shared?
I don't think that I necessarily think that there is anything legally problematic with the proposed amendment to say at least or at a minimum. I don't think it conflicts with state law. Now, do I think it mirrors state law directly? No, but I don't think that there is any legal barrier to making that amendment. I don't think it's necessarily necessary because we do have a separate MOU process, and that sounds like those negotiations are happening and will continue to happen. But I think if the board is concerned about making its intent clear, I think adding that flexibility to the language is not problematic.
Okay.
Member Tyler?
I mean, I think it's absolutely clear where I stand on this if you watch the committee meeting, since it was my original plan to add that. But I think the important thing is that we are not in control of what the MOU happens, but we are in control of the intent of our policy. And so I do not have an issue adding these words to show that the intent of the board is to say that we are looking at this as a minimum, and that they are able to move forward and do as they will with their MOU process. But that the intent of the board is to make sure that it is well understood among all parties that we are not seeing this as a final cap, and that we are not in the process of trying to remove any days from anybody, but that we are looking at this as a minimum. So just back to what you were saying about intent, and I won't belabor the point.
Member O'Hara Block?
Okay, so with that said, with one thing we did not discuss earlier was that any change that is made could have a fiscal impact. I would be supportive of at least language, provided if there was a fiscal impact, we would know about that and be able to discuss and approve that fiscal impact prior to the finalization of an MOU, which I believe would be the case anyhow, because the MOU comes to the board for its approval. But I just want to have stated that for the record. Thank you. Okay.
Member Tyler?
Well, then, for the record, there is no fiscal impact for this, so.
But I will want to ask that question and have it.
And I agree with you. I just also wanted to say on the
hasn't
floor.
had the chance to do that.
Right, and that's what I want to
Yes.
know, because
That's fair.
we
Yes.
say that without knowing what the proposal is, so they could potentially not be true.
Right.
Depending on what comes through on the MOU.
And fiscal impact can be both direct and indirect, meaning that it might not mean additional pay for people, but it might mean additional ways in which staff are being utilized that has an impact on the ability to utilize that staff, have to get more subs, et cetera, even if somebody's not paying for it. I mean, there's a lot of things that, we didn't talk about this earlier, so I didn't get into it, but that feels important to me. I'm happy to support language that gives us some flexibility, but I am not supportive of something that is going to have a fiscal impact we have not discussed at this board.
Member Elrod?
It was not said, so I feel like it needs to be said that we would approve an MOU here on the board floor. We all just kind of nodded our head, but just in case for the record. Thank you.
Seeing there's no other discussion or questions, all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you. We will now move on to new. Oh, shucks. Thank you, parliamentarian. Okay, so the amendment has passed to the policy. Now we need a motion to approve the policy as amended. Is there a motion to approve their policy as amended?
So moved. We just need to vote now.
Vote on the policy. Thank you. No, you're correct. No, you're correct. We need to be parliamentary sound. Now we move there's a motion to approve the policy. Is there there has been a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the policy passes. Thank you. Now we'll move on to New Start applications. New Start charter school appeals. We will begin that process. We will have Dr. Battle, and therefore Dr. Roby Grant, present this. I would like to say this beforehand. We received the emails, and we think for those who have spoken in front of the board, we may not respond to the emails, but we have read them and take them into true consideration as we deliberate over the process of the New Start new charter appeals. Dr. Roby Grant.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair, members of the board, and Superintendent Battle. Thank you for the opportunity to share the MNPS Charter Schools Office Review Team reports on 4 amended New Start charter applications. I do want to take this time to give a recap of where we are with the amended applications. On February 2nd, 2026, the MNPS Charter Schools Office received 4 New Start charter applications. Review team members read, reviewed, and rated each applicable section of those applications. On April 28th, 2026, the Charter Office presented these findings from the initial review, and the board voted to deny all 4 New Start applications. Each applicant received an official notice of the reasons for denial and was provided the opportunity to resubmit an amended application to MNPS. On June the 1st, 2026, the MNPS Charter School Office received 4 amended New Start charter applications from each of those applicants. Copies of those amended applications were provided to MNPS board members through the board office on June 1st, 2026. The evidence findings of each of those amended New Start amended applications were provided to each applicant as well as MNPS board members on July 23rd, 2026 for your review. As you can see on this slide, this year's cycle of amended applications includes Nashville School of Excellence, Empowerment Academy, the Gates School, and Music City Academy, which represents a mix of elementary, middle, and high school proposals. Pursuant to TCA 49-13-108B3, if an amended application is submitted, the authorizer has 60 days from receipt of an amended application to approve or deny it. The state board requires a vote on each individual application. A sponsor may appeal an authorizer's decision to the Tennessee State Charter Commission no later than 10 days after the date of the authorizer's written decision. It is important to note that the commission's decision is final and is not subject to an appeal. We will begin with the amended application for Nashville School of Excellence. Nashville School of Excellence is a proposed 612 charter school in South Nashville with a target enrollment of 630 students. Again, each MNPS board member has had access to the full amended application since June 1st via our board director's office, as well as the board report that includes the review team's ratings and recommendations that were provided on July 23rd. As part of your deliberations, we request that you consider all materials provided when determining whether to approve or deny the amended application. At this time, I will turn it over to the board for the discussion and vote on the amended application for Nashville School of Excellence.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby Grant. I will entertain a motion for the Nashville School of Excellence. Member Elrod.
Thank you. One moment. Right. So sorry, I just cut my finger, so I'm fine. All right. So I move to deny the amended charter application for Nashville School of Excellence based on the charter review team's evidence finding report and presentation, which rated their educational program design and capacity, operations plan and capacity, budget and finance, and applicable addenda, each as partially meet standards, and with an overall rating of partially meets standards. Among the evidence in the record, the concerns I would specifically note include, but are not limited to, first, network performance. The review team found that while the amended application acknowledges the 2025 performance deficiencies at Memphis School of Excellence in Cordova, it does not fully address the school's level 1 growth score or 2.3 achievement score. Additionally, reported ACT performance remains below both state and MNPS averages. Second, the governing board does not primarily meet locally. The amended application adds one annual in-person meeting in Nashville, but the review team found that parent participation would continue to rely primarily on virtual attendance, with limited detail on how the parent representative would be supported, orientated, and how that would be meaningfully integrated into board governance. Third, the proposed STEM model's goals continue to only be loosely aligned with the mission and do not clearly align with state accountability indicators, nor demonstrate a clear plan for assessing the mission that they have said that they are to attain. Revisions were made in several areas, and concerns were identified to their prior submission. Even with the amended application, including the correction of STEM Scope's curriculum, there is still little information on how their instructional program is different from what is already provided by MNPS, and the need for this school is not justified. Finally, the fiscal impact summary and estimates of that district provides Finally, the fiscal impact summary and estimates that the district has provided inside of our materials cites a substantial estimated fiscal impact of $2,184,849 in year one and $8,979,510 at build out across the schools. This information comes from how it would apply to across 23 schools. And how it would apply to those schools, including Oliver Middle School, which is a school and community that I represent. Again, year one was an estimated 332,916, which was 20 seats or 5.1% of enrollment. And the build out was an estimated 998,748, which is 60 seats or 5.2%. Again, all that information is inside of our agenda and very clearly listed, even with a very nice chart, which is much more clearly articulated than what I said. That is my very long mission.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Member Young. Discussion.
Sorry, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Member Elrod.
Thank you. Okay, so my first statement, of course, was on network performance. The network that they are partnered with does not currently have many STEM schools inside of the Memphis area. And of course, I've already mentioned the deficiencies that were listed within my motion. Secondly, there's, of course, mentioning about the governing board. We have had many discussions and issues amongst charter schools where the governing board is not available to families and students, and it becomes a problem not only for us in our oversight and our work with those schools, but the individual students and families. Lastly, though, which I want to really kind of emphasize on, is the proposed STEAM models goals and how they are not justified and how the school is already in experience. So within this area, though they say it's going to be along Nolensville Road and there's not a specific area suggested, it does lead me to believe that it will probably pull additionally along with the fiscal impact information from Croft Middle School and also McMurray Middle School. Both of those are middle schools, which of course is what this is trying to meet, but both of those are also STEM designated schools according to the state of Tennessee. Croft was one of the first middle schools inside the state to receive that honor, and that was in 2019. McMurray Middle just earned that STEAM recognition this past year. So they are both very much involved inside of this STEM designation and have gone through lots and lots of work to get that designation, as again, that is not easily obtained. So I wanted to make sure that we are aware of those things. Additionally, though not mentioned, because again, it is not all included within a motion, is that there's not enough CCR indicators and mostly just a focus on Tennessee grad requirements. There's a lack of CTE pathways and EBSO opportunities, and they're not clearly described amongst several other things. But specifically to my motion, I wanted to provide that context.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. All right, we'll move on to the next school. Dr. Ruby Grant?
Yes. And as indicated previously, the state board requires an individual vote for each application, each amended application. So we're moving on to Empowerment Academy. Empowerment Academy proposes a K-5 school with an enrollment capacity of 50 students located in Nashville. As stated in the previous slide, board members received the amended application on June 1st via our board director's office, and the materials, including the review team's ratings and findings for each applicable section of the application were provided on July 23rd. We ask that as you consider your deliberations, we encourage you to consider all information presented in reaching your decision. At this time, I will turn it over to the board for the discussion and vote of the amended application for Empowerment Academy.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ruby Grant. Is there a motion for the Empowerment Academy? Member O'Hara Block.
I move to deny the amended charter application for Empowerment Academy based on the Charter School Review Team's evidence finding report and presentation, which rated educational program design and capacity, operations plan and capacity, budget and finance, each as partially meets standard with an overall rating of partially meets standard.
All right, is there a second? Second by Vice Chair Nabhan-Kinney. Discussion? Member O'Hara Block.
So just to add a little detail to my motion, evidence in the record includes that the application does not provide a clear description of leadership qualifications or staffing structures, and there's potentially conflicting information across different parts of the application around the number of teachers per grade level. So, needing to know how many adults are in the building and teaching which students at which time is an important distinction to make. Second, in terms of financial viability, enrollment projections for this one continue to be at 50 students from year 1 to year 5. And while that might have some implication that it might be somewhat fiscally responsible, it actually is potentially problematic to only operate with 50 students, potentially a financial viability issue overall. The budget is assuming a substantial startup cost and doesn't properly account for where all that money will be coming from. And then finally, the fiscal impact summary and estimates that the district has provided cite an estimated fiscal impact across 6 school communities of $714,794.
Thank you. Any other comment Question. Member Elrod?
Thank you. Additionally, I would like to add that the materials, the application that they provided, the amended application that they provided, states that they will demonstrate measurable growth, or that students will demonstrate measurable growth in reading and math, but yet it still does not provide performance targets, benchmarks, or measures for evaluating that progress. And that includes outcomes related to what they state as their mission and their emphasis of early literacy. Should also be noted that they are a boys-only school and that they do not provide sufficient evidence on why that would be necessary or what the data would be for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Dr. Roby Grant.
Thank you for your vote on that amended application. We will now move to our next amended application, which is the Gates School. The Gates School is a 6A middle school with a proposed enrollment target of 360 students in the West Nashville area. Again, as indicated in the previous slide, the amended application was shared with board members on June 1st via our board director's office, and documents were shared with board members regarding to this presentation on July 23rd, which included the review team's ratings as well as their recommendation for the application. We request that you consider this information in the board's decision to vote or deny the amended application. I will turn it over to the board for the discussion and vote for the amended application for the Gates School.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the Gates School? Member O'Hara Block?
I move to deny the amended charter application for the Gates School based on the charter school review team's evidence finding report and the district's estimated fiscal impact summary for 2027. Pursuant to TCA 49-13-108C, the establishment of this school would have a substantial negative fiscal impact on Metro Nashville Public Schools such that authorization would be contrary to the best interests of the students, the LEA, and the community. Specifically here, we are focused on the students in the fiscal impact summaries reference school communities and the communities proposed for recruitment and enrollment. The district's fiscal analysis projects an estimated impact of $1,873,855 in year one, rising to $5,621,566 at build out, with specific estimated impact across 7 Nashville communities, including several in West Nashville, as specified in the district's estimated fiscal impact summary.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Member Tyler. Discussion. Member O'Hara Block.
So this will take a minute, but I appreciate everyone's patience. So I cited the fiscal analysis and the fiscal impact report in my motion, and the recurring loss at year one, or the recurring estimated loss at year one, and estimated cost at build out of $5.6 million, drawn from 7 Nashville communities, including several communities in West Nashville. I think in the past, when we've talked about fiscal impact, we've often talked about that impact across the district. What was unique to me about this particular analysis and what we saw is that it concentrated on specific school communities, and it put numbers to something I think all of us as board members know and understand, and maybe even that we, and specifically me, in some of my comments over the years, have been trying to articulate about both fiscal impact and the fiscal impact and that felt impact on existing schools when we're considering these potential new charter schools, regardless of the proposed model or the potential quality. The fiscal impact is exactly why I believe we need to have collaboration and discussion, conversations between potential charter operators and this board before a school idea is finalized for proposal. And why I'm always open to those conversations, and as of late, they're always going to start with, okay, but how are you going to deal with enrollment? The reality is that when students leave a school, that community is impacted. Maybe new students might come, maybe not. Maybe the demographics of an area change and families make another choice. Some of those things are outside of our control. But whether or not we approve a new charter school Or in the case of district-run schools, if we build a new district school or we rezone, all of those things should be fully within our control and should broadly reflect the will of the entire community. I want to say that I respect the impassioned remarks by the people in this audience, the individual desires, and I recognize that you all reflect a part of the community that I'm speaking of. That said, over the last 4 years and more recently in the last 6 months, I can confidently say that in addition to the community I represent is firmly on the side of more funding for the schools already in place in the community. At Build Out, this fiscal analysis estimates a potential impact on a school in my community that I represent, of West End Middle School. 20.9% of the students, sorry, I don't have the number listed right here, but a loss of a magnitude, so 20 students is the estimate at the beginning, and 60 students is the estimate later on. I can tell you from conversations with folks at West End Middle School, a loss of even 10 students has a very specific impact on the community. With the school-based budgeting model, which is very similar to TISA, and TISA is arguably based on the same principles, each student generates a specific base funding for the district in the case of TISA, for the school in the case of school-based budgeting. Additional funding is allocated for student need beyond that. I think this funding strategy makes sense, but it does create complications in practice. When funding follows enrollment at specific schools and districts, as it does with TISA and with school-based budgeting, if a school like West End loses even 10 kids, let alone 60, it results in reduced course offerings, reduced staffing, diminished programming for the students who remain, and the community stands to lose access to a variety of benefits, arts programs, lower student-teacher ratios, college and career prep. I've seen these things occur with fluctuations from one year to the next. So approving a new school that could have a negative fiscal impact on the community I'm elected to represent is not in the best interest of the students and families that have exercised their choice to attend those schools that are already and currently in existence within their communities. I suspect colleagues might feel similarly. I tried to be extensive in my remarks, not to be too much, but to allow people to say more of ditto than additional things if this reflects what you also felt when you read the fiscal analysis. Thank you.
Member Tyler.
I'm going to go ahead and say ditto and also add just an actual real world example of this is HG Hill, which also would stand to lose 60 students by the end of its time, in addition to Bellevue Middle School, which I also represent both of those. But when HG Hill lost its 5th grade, because we moved 5th grade back to elementary school, they also lost their arts program. And we had to scramble to find outside funding and work with outside groups to ensure that those students would not lose the opportunity to engage in the arts programs that they loved and that kept some of them there at that school to begin with. And so the idea of losing 60 more students doesn't just impact one arts program. I mean, that's an entire grade. So my community has also expressed that they are wanting to fund the schools that currently exist and that they want to see those schools thrive and do better. And I want to stand on the side of the community that I represent.
Thank you. Any other comments? Oh, Dr. Vice Chair Vaughn, can you?
Yeah. I would say ditto, but I also want to bring the perspective. I've served as the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee for the last couple of years. And when I look at the fiducial responsibility to ensure the long-term financial stability of Metro Nashville Public Schools, after carefully reviewing that impact, I just cannot support the opening of a new school. This decision is not about whether individual charter schools can do good or are doing good. It's about the financial reality facing our district. Every new charter school redirects public funding dollars away from MNPS, while the district remains responsible for the fixed costs of operating more than 160 schools, transporting students, maintaining facilities, providing special education services, ensuring school safety, and supporting the more than 80,000 students we currently have. Those obligations do not decrease simply because of enrollment shifts. Tennessee already ranks near the bottom nationally in per pupil education spending, and MNPS only receives a small share of its operating budget from the state. which local taxpayers are carrying the overwhelming majority of that responsibility. And in this environment, approving additional charter schools without a sustainable funding strategy would further strain district resources and reduce our ability to invest in academic achievement, teacher compensation, student support, school safety, and all the things that it takes when you're looking at it holistically. So my vote is really rooted in that financial stewardship, equity, and accountability. I believe our priority should be strengthening the public schools that serve the vast majority of Nashville's children, ensuring that we have the resources necessary to continue improving student outcomes, which we have seen over the last few years, before creating additional financial obligations that weaken the system as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Member Young and then Member Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. What I'm going to say applies for this application as well as the following one, so I'll just say it once and save y'all from hearing me talk twice. I think both are excellent ideas and applications for schools. But I think while we're talking about the fiscal impact, it's worth mentioning that this isn't just a fiscal impact to our MNPS operated public schools, but in both of these, it serves as a negative fiscal impact to some existing public charter schools as well. And so you look at MNPS enrollment over the last several years, and it's remained relatively flat. You look at our public charter school enrollment, and it has also remained relatively flat. And so without sustained enrollment growth, or growth in enrollment, excuse me, we are essentially taking the same pie and just having to cut smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. And I think, and I look at, for this particular application in the fiscal impact to say Nashville Prep, currently around 164 students, even with a 20 student reduction, that's $350,000 a year for them. Anticipated seats lost at 60, $1 million a year for a school that's currently an enrollment of 164. That's real money. And I guess that I had possession of some sort of magic wand that would somehow start increasing enrollment so that we can look at how to best incorporate excellent charter applications such as these into our toolkit of options to offer to our families. But I just worry that expanding those options when the current options are not even full is at the financial detriment to the majority. And that's, I don't want my vote to deny this. I don't want it to reflect negatively on the founders, because I think they've worked really hard and in earnest could potentially have some great schools, but I just, I can't get there on the math. And I think it's important that we, well, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Member Taylor.
I did want to say that I do agree with the sentiment around the fiscal impact. I look at my district in particular, and, you know, the thing is with most of these are not in my district. So even though I got a ton of schools in my district, none of mine showed up on this list somehow. But I've seen what happens when we feel like we don't have enough students in the building. That's what happened about, I guess, almost 6 years ago now. In my district, we had to close 3 schools, and it's still closed. And so I think about that when I look at these numbers. One of the things that I heard was that we have to figure out a funding model that's going to address this. going forward. My concern is that I'm gonna just be real. These schools are going to, if we deny them, they're going to appeal, and some of them may be approved. And they're still going to have a fiscal impact on these schools if they're approved. And so that's something that we're going to have to figure out. And we can continue to hope that things change at the state level. We can hope that we get more students. We can hope that we get more money somehow. But I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. And so we have to figure out how we're going to manage this situation where we see the potential fiscal impact that's coming to these schools in this district. What is our plan? How are we going to make sure that these schools still have the resources that they need in order to do the work that we want them to do? And so I just want to put that out there that I'm open to the discussion around us really sitting down and planning out what this looks like over the next 4, 5, 10 years here in Nashville to address the lack of funding that we have. I think that these schools are great ideas as well. I think we spend a lot of money on a lot of things that, you know, some people may say we need, some people may say we don't need them so much. I see these charter applications as an investment. So if we think that they're a great idea, there is a cost associated with it. Right now, it doesn't appear that we have the additional resources to invest in a great idea in this way. But I also want to say, if we were to have the resources to invest, if the fiscal impact wasn't what it is, will we be more open to the idea of investing in a charter school that has some unique and innovative ideas that we don't currently offer to parents? And now I'm just on my soapbox. I think that I received a ton of calls and emails, I think most of us did, around some of these applications. And there is a sense that parents are looking for other opportunities for their children. I would say a good portion of the parents that reached out to me were on waiting list for magnet opportunities in the district. And so that is another area where I would like to work together so that we can address parents looking for other opportunities. I think when I decided to run to be a school board member, I wanted to support the district in making our zone traditional schools the best options for parents. And we are moving the needle. But as a parent myself, do I want to wait 4, 5, 6 years before we get the needle moved enough to where I feel confident that my child is going to receive the highest quality education, no matter what part of town I live in? And so, all that being said, I love you guys. I want us to work together to figure this out. It's not going to be easy. And so the time, put the work in on it is here. And I'm willing to work with everybody to make it happen, because I think that the city of Nashville deserves it. I think the parents and our students deserve it. And I appreciate the work that we are already doing. Let's just keep it going and put more work in.
Member Elrod.
Thank you. I, of course, have fiscal impact concerns, as that has long been my concern in conversation about charter schools, be them new starts or not. And that's been since I've taken on the board. That said, I would like to add some additional context to why my vote will be to deny it. And that would be that their proposed model is based on the Harkness method and AI-enhanced learning. The Harkness method is, in essence, a discussion-based learning where students sit around a round or oval table. It's called Harkness table. And you sit around this table and you have discussion-based learning. It is good methodology, there's pedagogy to it, of course. I would disagree that it's an entire school base, and that sometimes you can get close to the same outcomes when you put a bunch of desks together and do think, pair, share. But the Harkness method and the AI-based, AI-enhanced learning as stated as proposed models, I do not think are uniquely justifiable as a desired charter school or desired school within our portfolio of schools. Whether the fiscal impact would be positive nor negative, though of course we know it is negative, there have not been requests for this type of school from families, besides, of course, for this specific school. On the note of the communication that we've received, we did receive 29 emails, and 2 of them had listed zip codes. And within that, most of them talk about how they are incredible fans of Buris Cox, who does sound like a really talented educator. And that he has some good comfort with students and student-led discussions, and that is a special talent within education as well. As again, you kind of have to be willing to step back and let your classroom move in a professional and highly trained way. That said, again, the Harkness method and having discussion-led methodologies inside of a classroom are not something that is necessarily new to MNPS, though we may not be calling it the Harkness method. And we would agree with a lot of these emails that state that public schools, that they want schools that have teachers that matter, and that we have high standards, and that we want strong academics as well. And that seems to be the core of what we hear from these families, besides their strong support of Buris as a person. Am I saying that right, Mr. Cox? As a person. So I want to make sure that I make sure that to say that the fiscal capacity, of course, is of concern to me. There are a few other small concerns, but again, the justification of need, I don't find to be there between what they have listed as their proposed model.
In the comments? Real quick, I want to just add to the kind of looking up from a 50,000 point view when it comes to fiscal capacity. This is a multi-body, intergovernmental conversation. If you really look over the past years, probably besides myself and member Elrod, member Tyler, longest serving members on this board, each of the year, and I was a budget chair for 4 years, the state's portion has decreased. Our official capacity increase, the state allocation to us has decreased. On top of that, with a tightening economy and just coming out of budget season, we have a Metro Council who's talked about the amount of our allocation with that, and how that affects the Metro government as a whole. So when we really have that conversation of fiscal capacity, it's not with just not with just this body, but it's also with the state, with their increasing of our fiscal capacity. We also have to think of the Metro Council, because the higher enrollment means a higher allotment, which puts a tension on their decision when it comes to the Metro general government, as we have increase in property taxes and how the constituents have felt about property taxes increase with the tightening of economy. So when we have that discussion, understand it really just needs to be a multi-government body discussion and not just with us in the state, just because it impacts Metro general government, which we get our funding from, the state government, which determines our fiscal capacity and our TISA formula with that. So I just want to say that for the record, when you talk about the totality of fiscal impact is a multi-level government aspect. Other than that, I will call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it is 8-1. The motion passes. We will move on to the next school, Dr. Roby Grant.
Thank you for your individual vote for that amended application. We have reached our last amended application, Music City Academy. Music City Academy proposes grades 9 through 12, serving 480 students in the targeted areas of districts 5, 8, and 9. Again, the amended application was shared on June 1st, and the document shared with the board members on July 23rd. We ask that you include these documents in your decision and your consideration for the board's vote. I will turn it over to the board for the discussion and vote for the amended application for Music City Academy.
Is there a motion? Member O'Hara Block?
I move to deny the amended charter application for Music City Academy based on the charter school review team's evidence finding report and the district's estimated fiscal impact summary for FY 2027. Pursuant to TCA 49-13-108C, the establishment of this school could have a substantial negative fiscal impact on Metro Nashville Public Schools, such that authorization would be contrary to the best interests of the students, the LEA, and the community. Specifically here, we are focused on the students, and the fiscal impact summaries reference school communities and the communities proposed for recruitment and enrollment. The district's fiscal analysis projects an estimated recurring loss of 1.671, so it's easier if I say, of $1,671,012 in year one, rising to $6,684,049 of build out drawn from 8 high schools in several different Nashville communities.
Is there a second? Second by Vice Chair Nabali Kinney. Is there comments or questions? Member Taylor?
I did have a question just about the methodology for the fiscal impact. How did we come up with the number of seats lost per school? I guess I don't know who to ask that question to, but.
Thank you for the question, Board Member Taylor. I worked with, and Dr. Roby Grant's office worked with our zoning, boundary, and planning department his methodology was essentially that they were chosen based on the proximity to the location provided in the application, and because they serve the same grade levels. In general, the schools closest to the new charter schools location are the most impacted by a school opening, including zone schools, magnet schools, and charter schools, both MNPS and TDOE. And the impact analysis of seats lost factored in the proximity to the school, the new charter school's capacity and grade levels offered for year one, and for when the new school is built out. Obviously, most schools open with 1 or 2 grades at a time and build from there. This is certainly not an exact science. We have to look at where we've, where the application says specifically their targeted recruitment areas are, and then proximity to the school, which has been our best predictor in the past.
Okay. I was just wondering why I didn't have any schools on there, but
So the rest of the district would have been caught in the other category, which we do see in the past. There will be a student or two, but that's why there's not a fiscal analysis attached to those others, because we don't know where they would be drawing from. Therefore, it's impossible to say what school the finances would be attached to.
Got it. Okay. No, I just wanted to be clear on that. I wasn't sure because I look at the list of schools here, and it looks like a good portion of them are magnet type options that pull from all over the district, and so that's why I was just wondering.
There are 3 magnet schools included. They have the lowest number of seats, as you can see, but again, just using the proximity as part of his methodology.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bellum.
Member Fain?
I'm going to recuse myself from this vote. Dr. Kevin Dyson and I sit on another board of another organization together, so I'm going to recuse myself from this vote.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Member Young?
Thank you, Chair. I thought I'd found a potential flaw, and then I thought through it more, but I thought maybe other people might go down the same path I did, and it might be worth saying out loud. When I first questioned, would there actually be a negative fiscal impact to magnet schools that typically have a wait list, because those seats will be refilled? But then I guess assumed the methodology there is they would be refilled, but yet those pulling from wherever schools they were coming from indeed does lose that funding. So it might not necessarily fiscally impact, say, Hume Fogg, but that money would be divided out from wherever Hume Fogg was pulling. So I thought that was worth saying out loud, because I thought I was like, oh, wait a second. And I was kind of proud of myself for a second.
Member Hillblog.
I just want to take a second to touch on Hillsborough as the school in here that I represent. And just to say, similar to what I said about West End, we've had years at Hillsborough where the numbers fluctuate by 20 or 50 or 70 students. That can be, because of a particular cohort of students being larger or smaller. It can happen based on choice. Those are things that do happen. And we've had years where, we can add 5 teachers if the fluctuation is positive, but then we might have to let go 5 positions if the fluctuation is negative. And in a year where we experience a negative fluctuation for whatever reason, that might mean losing a specific college and career counselor for a specific group of students. It might mean losing choir as a class. It has to become a club. Or we lose a varsity lacrosse program, and that has to become a club team. And those things impact then that creates a knock-on effect where it impacts where those students then choose to go to school, which can then, because they're preparing for college and they're doing all those things. And so then we have a sort of self-fulfilling cycle that occurs when we have to make the cuts at the district schools when there are fluctuations. And so I don't necessarily control those fluctuations year to year based on things that are out of my control, whether or not there's a small cohort, whether or not this is happening. But I do have a vote here on whether or not a new school might come and impact that community. And this analysis has resonated with me in that way, that has put some words behind and some numbers behind things that I have known to be true, and that are why I again, to Robert's point, there have only been a couple of situations in which I have talked to potential founders before the letter of intent comes in, even to say, I don't know that works. Or, hey, why don't you talk to these 5 people at the district who might, be willing. And sometimes that'll work and happen, and other times it won't. And these conversations, we end up here, right? But I think this is a really important conversation around the fiscal impact of new schools, new options on existing options. And when we have it relative to a school we might build, we consider a number of different things. And in this instance, we don't get the same option. And that's the conversation I want to make sure that is had, because the fiscal impact does make an impact on the community specifically. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Member Elrod?
Thank you. Of course, fiscal impact is a major concern amongst all of my colleagues. I know that in the appeal, there's been some statements made of that they're not a sports school. I understand that sports is their vehicle of how to do leadership training amongst their staff as well, it seems, as their students. It still is stated very clearly within their amended charter application, and also mentioned today that all students are to be an athlete. And I'm sure that student level of athleticism is going to vary greatly depending on whatever sports are available and so on and so forth. But of course, I still want to bring up the concerns and justification process issues of, what if you have a student that simply doesn't want to be in sports? What if you have a student that is disabled? What if you have a student that is trans and that's not allowed by the state? All of those kinds of concerns. So I understand that is not, they're saying that that's not their focus, but that does appear to be their focus within the amended charter application. It is their proposed model to have this team-centered, career-centered learning, and then that's done through sports. Again, that's their vehicle. And then additionally, I wanted to bring up, I already did fiscal impact. So sorry, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Again, yes, I think there was some mention of scheduling inconsistencies and academic sequencing that was missing some. And the plan to partner with TSU for athletic facilities, but not completely settled on what the facility needs would be. As we are well aware, even through our own policies that we had to pass through today, providing sports is very expensive, even if they are what you would consider low touch or low cost athletics. And that's why most small private schools and charter schools do not provide them. And so that ongoing cost and making sure that there's good planning for that seems to be very necessary, since that is going along with their model. Beyond that, I want to make sure that I say that I think it is quite interesting, my research on Dr. Dyson. I, of course, know him from being a lifelong Nashvilleian, but I have also talked to people within Williamson County and about your great experience at Centennial High School, and that they have had some changes. I know that we had some mentions about our emails, and I just want to make sure that we have for public knowledge. We received about 20 emails, and the vast majority of them talk pleasantly about you and about how sports have affected their children greatly, and how the leadership skills that they've learned from those are beneficial. Again, I argue that we know that already as a school system. That's why we have prioritized athletics so much, and access to them, whether that's even within our elementary schools where we now have track and soccer, that we do not disagree with that modality. But again, that does not make it a typically unique justification, because we are trying to provide the same thing within our own schools. So thank you.
Vice Chair Nabalkini.
Thank you. I just want to put it in for the record because we look at each individual charter, each charter individually, and just want to kind of repeat my statement for the record. But as a school board member, and particularly as the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee over the last couple of years, I am really concerned about our judicial responsibility to ensure the long-term stability of Metro Nashville Public Schools. And after carefully reviewing the fiscal impact of charter expansion, I cannot support the opening of Music City Academy. Again, the decision is not rooted in whether the school can do or will do good. It is really about the financial reality that we're facing as a district. Every new charter school redirects public dollars away from MNPS while the district remains responsible for the fixed cost and the cost of operating this system. Again, Tennessee already ranks near bottom nationally in per pupil education funding. And just so you guys can get an idea of what that funding is, Tennessee we only received 18% of funding from the state. The majority of our funding comes from local government, which is about 75%, and it puts the strain of funding Metro Nashville Public Schools on us. And so we constantly look at that, and with the expansion of vouchers, we are just getting hit dollar by dollar by dollar with all of these different things, and we have to continue to look at this and prioritize this. This year, our budget season was extremely hard. It is only going to continue to get worse year over year related to that. And so for me, as a board member and as that budget chair, prioritizing our financial responsibility. Again, my vote is rooted in fiscal stewardship, equity, and accountability. I strongly believe our priority should be strengthening the public schools that serve the vast number of Nashville's children, ensuring that we have the resources necessary to continue improving student outcomes that we have seen year over year before creating additional financial obligations that weaken our system as a whole. And so in light of that, I cannot support approving this charter.
Member Tyler.
I continue to have concerns about the fiscal capacity of Metro Nashville Public Schools as a whole. So I just want to reiterate that without belaboring it. And then the second point, I thought, as a former coach myself, I wondered about how you would get around recruiting issues because you cannot recruit students. So how would you be? It seemed like it was a Pandora's box that could create problems for your athletic programs if the entire point of the school is that it's based on athletics, and then so you're asking people to come to the school, and how are you choosing who you're asking, and how are you? So we run into some real serious TSSAA recruiting violations that could hamper the student's ability to actually perform in the reason why they attended the school. But honestly, that itself is just a minor issue compared to the much larger issue of our fiduciary responsibility to Metro Nashville Public Schools as a whole, and the impact that this would have on our programs and our schools, and just the sheer amount of money that would make it hard for us to keep cutting the pie smaller, as Board Member Young explained in a previous comment. So I will also be voting to deny.
Any other comments? Any other questions? We will now move to a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There's one opposed, so the vote is 7-1 and one not voting. Yes, and that is the end. Thank you, Dr. Roby Grant. I have one announcement before we adjourn. There will be no meeting on September 7th due to Labor Day holiday weekend, so no meeting on September 7th. The September meeting will happen on November 22nd. Oh, whoops, September. Ooh. Oh, somebody's low blood sugar. September 22nd will be the September meeting. That'll be a board meeting where we'll swear in the new board with the board members who begin new terms and student board members. So September 22nd, we will swear in the board members in new terms, the student board member, and there will only be one meeting in September, which is September 22nd. Being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.